Well, welcome. How we doing out there on this Wednesday? Turn down our music a little bit. Gosh, I want to just take a moment and welcome all of you out there to Mindset Minutes. Here at Mindset Minutes, we work on closing the gap to fear and really working in the solution. And today, I've got a special guest here. Her name is Anita Westlake, and Anita's my guest. She is a top industry earner. I'm going to ask her to share just a little bit about herself in a moment. And before I do that, I want to just introduce myself to all of you. I know that I know many of you, but there are still people that have just joined the Flip the Switch community. And by the way, if you are not in the community, go ahead and join the community. The link is floating along right here, but I'll go ahead and put it in the comments. So you'll note it in the comments. Join the community. And for those of you that share this, so if you share this at the end of the week, we're going to start doing this consistently. I'm going to be doing a drawing for those people that are sharing it out, as well as those people that are joining the group. So make sure that you let us know you've shared it and that you're joining the group, and you're going to go into the drawing. So I want to take, like I said, just a moment. One thing I want to share is that coming this November, so it's just like a week away. Can you guys even believe that? We're going to be doing some leveling up here in the Flip the Switch community, and we're going to be focusing on leadership development. So I've created an expanded mission statement, so I will just share it with you. I help network marketing women ignite their inner brilliance so they can attract and develop leaders through strategy and duplication. So all of my content is going to be geared toward helping leaders level up, helping them get unstuck, and helping them have the results that they want that they probably aren't having at the moment. So whatever level you are, just be continuing to grab the free content and different things that we're going to be sharing in the Flip the Switch community. And I'm really looking forward to really unfolding some of the new programs that I'm offering. So stay tuned. All right. Anita, I want to welcome you. I have just so loved working with you. I've had an opportunity to work with Anita in the past at a company that we were at together, as well as, gosh, we've done several team meetings, events, and even done some team coaching with you and your team. But I would love for you to tell us a little bit about you.
Thank you. Well, and you've done personal coaching with me too. So thank you, you guys. If you're new to Flip the Switch, you guys follow this lady because Joan is amazing. Just everything. You're just so heart-centered when you coach and when you teach and when you speak. And so I just want to give you all the kudos. So thank you, Joan, for being you.
Oh, you're welcome.
And so I am, like she said, Anita Westlake. I have actually been in direct sales for 28 years. I know. My oldest is almost 29, and I started, I think, when he was like a year. So so not all of it has been like serious building a team. Once I won a car, it wasn't pink, but I got the red one. and then just a little bit of dabbling. I think I did what a lot of people do with direct sales is I get into something that's an interest to me and a hobby to me, and I want to save money. Why pay full price, right?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, hey, I think that is a big factor, a big draw for many people looking at businesses. You know, obviously they're going to love the products. And when you're loyal and love a product, of course, you're going to want to be able to get it at the very best price for sure.
Mm-hmm. And I did find I'm looking back at my patterns, and when I get into something and really go, because
Mhm.
of course for many years I was just, I was focused on mom and I didn't grow a business. But when I really did focus, it was when I felt like I needed to find me. I was feeling
Mhm.
lost. Like, and they both have followed major deaths in my life, which is just ironic. So, and with certain people in my life, and it's like, okay, I got to start focusing on me and working on me again. And that's when I really dig in and drive into my business. So I've really, this is, I've been a leader with the company I'm in right now for 5.5 years. And this is the first time I've really led a team,
Mhm.
and really done it correctly.
Mhm. Yeah.
um, because I didn't do it right the first time when I went with to growing a team. So this is my first go at it, and it's been eye-opening,
Mhm.
educational,
Yeah.
growth like crazy.
Well, Anita, first off, I want to thank you for being so vulnerable, because oftentimes we see leaders and we don't understand behind the, you know, brand, or behind the smile, or behind what seems like, gosh, they've got it all together, is a leader that has been through the trenches, and she's overcome challenges. She's leaned into fear like nothing else, and
Yeah.
she's had setbacks. She's had to strengthen her tenacity to push through to the next level. And boy, I wrote in some of my notes here, I wanted to cover a few things. I wrote, being a leader certainly isn't for the weary. And I mean, gosh, there are many days, no matter what level you're at, where leadership really can be challenging. But I also believe that now more than ever, we need strong leaders in our world to guide people, to lead the way with integrity, to lead the way with heart, and to help people in all kinds of capacities. Of course, you and I are in the network marketing channel. And so we're helping people with sales skills. We're helping people with leadership skills. We're helping people with recruiting or sponsoring skills. But gosh,
Communication skills.
communication. Yeah. I mean, there's so many different things that really, I think, as a leader, you're going to be developing. And it's a never ending role. So, one thing that I think a lot of people think is, it's like there is no finish, right? We're going to keep growing and developing. And I think leaning into and enjoying the journey is something that I didn't used to do. And now I can see that it's through practice, because I don't even use the word fail. I just think it's kind of I don't know. I don't like the word. And so I don't want to use it. It doesn't make me feel good. But what does make me feel good is to know that I leaned in and I practiced.
Mhm.
Oh, you know what? You guys, guess what? I got to just say this. My little granddaughter's here. She just popped in. So I got to show you guys. You haven't seen my little granddaughter on a live. Bring her
Aw.
over. No, I gotta just show you. This is hi. Hi, this is Sophia. You say hi? Well,
Hey,
hi.
Sophia.
Look at little
See
Sophia.
yourself.
Say
She's a
hi.
pretty baby.
Isn't she a cutie? She has all this hair. So I just thought I'd let all you guys see my little grandbaby, Sophia. Okay, Gigi's gonna get back to her work here. Go. Oh, I just had to show you guys my little granddaughter. So I have two granddaughters and a grandson now. More kid, almost more grandkids than I had kids, right? So
That's
um,
awesome.
very exciting and fun. Okay, let me get back on track. So today, Anita, we're going to be talking about mistakes that leaders make, and really why all of you listening in today don't have to. One of the things that I have done always, I've been in the industry, gosh, it's been 22 years, and I've been with 4 different companies in the field. I've also worked at the corporate level and done consulting and training and speaking. And I'll tell you what, there's a lot to it, right? We can always find ourselves with something to do. But one thing I think that often gets overlooked is really investing in yourselves. So part of the reason why I wanted to level up my brand and really be focused on serving leaders, attracting leaders, developing leaders, and showing people how to do that is because the majority of companies put their money in the sales department when it comes to the business basics. And there isn't always leveled up leadership programs. So leaders arrive at sometimes these ranks and they go, I don't really know what to do. And then they feel awkward, right? They feel awkward, or they feel like, boy, I shouldn't be doing this, or I'm not good enough, or they look out to someone else and go, well, gosh, she does it with ease. And that, guys, that is not on my list to share, actually, but that is one mistake that a leader can do, is compare yourself to others. Mm-hmm. If I turned over my phone and started looking at all these top leaders in the industry and beyond, there's going to be a part of me where I could feel diminished with something within me that maybe hasn't been developed yet. So I do want to take a moment and encourage all of you out there right now, wherever you are, whether you're beginning as a leader, whether you're more of an intermediate, emerging leader, whether you're a 6 or 7-figure earner, we're all still learning, and being vulnerable about what you are good at and what you're still challenged with, or the areas that you're working to improve. That's called an authentic leader. That's the kind of gal I want to be and that I want to be around. I don't want to be around the perfect, cookie cutter. She has no problems. Everything's working great. Because guys, that is not real life.
Like the Instagram image leader, right. It's like, oh, let's make sure we light it up and.
Right. Well, Anita, talk to us a little bit about, you grew a large team fairly quickly. And I know you were shaking your head yes when I said that about sometimes we arrive and we're not sure what to do. Explain just a little bit about that, and how you overcame it.
Yeah. So it was not sort of like, but all of a sudden you've got this team, and very quickly, like Joan said, and it's like being handed a teenager and saying, here, raise them. It's like,
yeah,
I don't know what to do with a teenager. Can I have that baby back?
Right.
Baby? Can I grow with my baby?
Yeah.
And sometimes that's just not in the cards, and you're just not given, but you work for it, but it happens so quickly, you just don't know what to do.
Sure.
And I have to say, I had to lean into other. That scared me. I'm sure Georgie girl, my dog, will be making a cameo too. She seems to want the spotlight all the time, but it's at that point I immediately got a business coach, because I'm like, oh my gosh, I've got this team. I don't know what to do. And I did know what to do, but I wasn't confident in knowing what to do. And what I ended up doing is just going from what felt good to me.
Right.
What good in my heart? What did I always want from a leader that I felt was missing? And not to focus on. And so then I could focus on like what I could do, what I could give, and I had to work on that mindset, Joan. Not focusing on what I don't want. Well, I don't want to be like this. I don't want to be like that.
Right.
You can, and instead it's like, what do you want? Well, I want to lead from my heart. I want to, be there for the team. Of course, have boundaries with time and, all of that goes along with being a leader. But I began right away focusing on what I wanted my team and my team culture to look like instead of the negative.
And Anita, I love that you shared that, because guys, please, all of you out there listening in, even if you're taking some notes, this is so normal, because this is how our brains are wired. We're wired to look at oh my gosh, this is alarming over here, or this is a red flag. We notice more of fear, right? And again, that's the way we're wired. We notice more of lack. And so what Anita is
I
sharing,
love vaccine.
vaccine, I know. What Anita is sharing is she's sharing a practice. In fact, this is part of why I wrote the book, Flip the Switch, right? Because I had seen how many leaders stay stuck in the challenge or the problem, and then they might, call another leader and talk about that with them. I mean, hey, you could go 2-3 hours in a day with something you don't like at your company. Guys, that is a waste of time.
Mhm.
In this age where I think, from my perspective, people are becoming more aware of many things, but how much more profitable could your businesses be? How much more quality could you have within your day if you actually began disciplining yourself to think the things that you want instead of the things that aren't happening or that you don't want? I mean, it's just a question, but it's a question that I ask myself every day. When I start going down that rabbit hole, boy, I'll just pull out of there, because I know that's just going to lead to more of the same. So I'm glad you brought that up. Like I said, leaders often get into these positions and, they feel like, I don't know what to do with these people. Anita's answer was, hey, I got a coach. And you know what? I did too, right away. Because the very first company I was in, I joined a year after they had really came together, but I was a front line to the company, brand new to network marketing. And I needed additional support. So I found someone that had experience, and I still to this day work with her. She's amazing. She's kept up on, the trends and the style of how our industry has changed. And that's also important. When looking for a coach, you definitely want to find somebody that you jive with, that speaks your language. You also want to find somebody that's doing what you're doing. I mean, I am all about sharing, um, you know, experiences and, helping people problem solve. But it's just like I wouldn't go to a lawyer to get, well, I'm not married, but let's say to get a divorce if they're not a divorce lawyer, right? Just like I wouldn't go to a counselor to talk about, you know, relationships with my, let's pretend, spouse if they were a child psychologist, right? So I want you guys to be mindful that you want to work with somebody that has experience in what you need. Really important, really important. So let's talk about a couple other things. To me, there's a lot of things that can happen. I don't really even love the word mistakes, but it's kind of a catchy title, so we went with mistakes. But
Because that's what we tell ourselves. We
right?
tell ourselves it was wrong, it was bad, it was horrible, and it was a mistake.
Right, right. It just,
True.
like, this didn't work out, or this was a mistake. But I'll see if I can embrace the word just for a minute.
Okay.
One of the biggest mistakes I made, so let's say it that way, one of the biggest learning lessons that was something for me in the beginning of my business was understanding how to work with the right people. Now, when I say that to you, some of you are probably going, well, geez, Joan, that kind of seems a little bit like, you're profiling the people. And this is the answer to that. You and I have to do that in order to know who the right people are to work with. Now, I say the right people because some leaders will work with the wrong people. they'll try and get this person to do something that the person clearly doesn't want to do. So as a leader, the very best thing you can do to overcome that, so you're, spending all your time on the phone with, let's just pretend, Susie Q, who is not even working a personal business, and you're trying to help her over and over and over, and you're the one beating your head against the wall. Susie's not. Susie's got your time. That's an example. So how do we overcome that kind of thing? Well, one of the things that we do is we set everyone up for success the same way, but we find out what they're willing to do. Do they want to grow a personal business? I'm talking about working with people when it comes to developing their skills. So not everybody is the right person to work with when it comes to one-on-one coaching. You're going to love everybody on your team for sure, but you're not going to work the same with every single person. So you've got to know who are the people that want to really drive a business. Who are the people that are, brand new, but they want to develop a personal business, but they're just getting started. And then who are the people that clearly tell you, you know what, I'm a product user, or I'm, just going to be doing a little bit here and there. And then you look at these categories and you realize, okay, that person doesn't need an hour of my time, but this person who's, driving to the next rank promotion, that gal is deserving of my time. Does that make sense, Anita?
Absolutely.
What are some of the tips you can share about that for the people listening in right now?
Yeah. So, you can look at your structure and
Right.
look and see, okay, this person is a leader, or they have a team, but sometimes you do have to look at who is, who is working, who is showing up to your calls,
Yeah.
the meetings, who is on your team page interacting and showing interest and wanting to learn, who's frustrated. Do you know what? That person who is super frustrated, they want growth.
Right.
They're frustrated because they want more, but they might not know how to ask for it. So it's also looking for those little signs and then watching for the big red flags, because that person that you think needs to be your leader might not be the one that wants to be that leader, but
That's right.
maybe Jan on her team really does, but doesn't know how to communicate, or is afraid to reach up to you, or it's like. And so I just like to watch for who is showing up, who's hungry. I guess frustration to me means you're hungry. You want more.
Right. I definitely think so. And I have a few other like concrete things that I could add to what you're saying, because, oftentimes understanding really how to identify who to work with. I love that Anita said she looks at, who's showing up. So effort is huge. I match my time with people's efforts. And that is a really good note to take.
Not their words.
Right? Yeah, just match your time with their efforts and match your time with their action. That is a proven way to know who to work with. When you're working with someone and it elevates you, it feels good, you've helped them break through a challenge, she's looking towards solution, you're working with the right person. Okay. Now, for a lot more on that, of course, I do offer a building leaders coaching program. And if you have any interest or anything like that, you could always put a heart in the comments and I can give you more information around that. Or even working one-on-one or in a group setting, put it down there. And I'd love to chat with you and keep you abreast of some of the different things that will be opening up soon. However, right now, I want you to grab this one too. one of the best ways to know who to work with is get in your back office and look down the lines, run some reports, see who your top 10 people are, see who the people are that are consistently operating their personal business. See who the people are that are consistently sponsoring. And maybe you've got somebody that's consistently selling, but they're not sponsoring yet. So those are oftentimes people that may need your support and help around the skill of sponsoring. I've also seen people that have sponsored really well that maybe aren't selling as much of their company's products. So it can go both ways. And I want to say this, if you can sell a product, you can sell any product as long as you understand people buy 7 times more on emotions. So you want to share those benefits that answer the question, what's in it for me? All right, I'm getting off kilter. But anyway, you're going to look at the back office. You're going to see what they're up to. And you're also going to make reach out phone calls. So let's say you've got somebody that looks like, gosh, this could be a potential next leader. I have encouraged many people on my own teams as well as clients, like, hey, I look in there, have you thought about reaching out to that person? I'm thinking of one gal that I work with not too long ago. She had one gal, she reached out to her, a whole team has blossomed from one reach out. And yet she was in a team where somebody told her, don't call down line. Like, it's my team. That is not true. If the team is under you, it's our team. It's everyone. And nobody should ever feel alarmed or like, coveting the people of their team, especially when I'm out to help people or you are, right? Okay. So the next best thing is to ask, gosh, Anita, what I see in you is this. I'm looking to partner with a couple new people to develop their leadership abilities. How does something like this sound to you? Do you want to move up the ranks? Boy, I'm looking here at your volume and it's amazing. What are you doing? How do you do it? And by showing someone what you see in them, often that gives them the confidence to take the next step. So let's go on. I've got a couple other things. I will say this last thing though. If you are working in an area of your business that is draining you, in other words, it's taking your time, it's draining you, you definitely need someone to help you. You've got to look at it and start asking that area questions and really, truly get honest with yourself. How much time are you giving to something that's draining you? Because this business is not a drain. This business should feel challenging at times, yes, but we're in the business of creating relationships and helping people that want to work a business. It is business after all. So I want to make one last comment. Often people get a little bit nervous, like, oh, you know what? I've got to treat everybody on my team the exact same, or, I have to be fair. And this is what I'd say. If we're talking about an incentive, or perks, I think that you do have to be, you can't give one gal one thing and one gal the other when they achieve the same thing, right? So we want to be consistent when it's an incentive or a promotion that we're doing or something like that. But remember, guys, this is probably the biggest lesson I learned is you are in a business. This isn't like, a motivational squad. This is a business. So we have to really treat it like a business, and we give our time to the people that are working a business, and we find out who those people are. All right. So people often can.
Yeah, go ahead. I'll just interrupt you for a second because I hope you guys are taking notes. I'm just sitting here dying. I just want to write down everything you're saying right now. You are so good at what you do. Sorry, I just had to say that, and I'm going to have to watch the replay.
Well, hey, you know what? We do have the replay. We'll provide that. Yes, ma'am. But okay, let's talk about another big mistake that leaders can make. So, Anita, I just went with the first one. Can you think of something that you feel like, hey, Joan, I've seen this and I want to kind of share this out because people really need to hear this. Can you think of another mistake? And then I've got one more and we'll draw a little flip the switch card and go from there.
Fun. Okay. Oh, I haven't been thinking. So
When you think
another,
I'm
you know what, a big mistake. I feel like, you talked earlier about comparing yourself and having
yeah,
the imposter syndrome, and you feel like you don't belong. And it's really important to keep feeding yourself with that personal development. Stay
right.
focused, put your blinders on, don't compare. And another mistake that I do see, and I just lost where I was going with that, is giving up,
Oh yeah.
giving up on yourself.
Giving up on yourself too soon, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Let's stay there for a minute
Mhm.
because I actually, in my blog, so, I'll put the blog in the comments. I've got 3 major mistakes. And one of those things is really about quitting. So, yeah, you're exactly right there, Anita, giving up too soon. So, guys, in this industry, when you're an entrepreneur, and let's say that you started and you had a full-time job, they're very different, aren't they? They're very different. As an employee, you've got a task list, probably exactly what you need to do. You probably get paid an hourly rate, whether you work hard or whether you kind of, float a little bit. I mean, you might have a salary, you're guaranteed a wage. And you know what? I wouldn't trade what I do for anything because I've worked to develop myself and I'd rather bet on myself. That's the way I see it today. Now, that wasn't always the comfort zone you develop, but
Scary.
right. Yeah. But let me say this because you brought up a really good point. People will start a business like this, and at the first sign of a challenge or struggle, they want to throw in the towel. Now, guys, I'm just going to say this. I get it that challenging things don't feel comfortable. I know that. But part of you evolving as even just a human being is building that tenacity, building some strength, some inner strength to navigate a challenge and jump over the wall, right? Get over, hurdle over. And I will tell you, probably there's nothing that I think feels better than breaking through a challenge. When we were kids, we used to do that red rover, send Joan right over.
I'm
And
so horrible at that.
yeah, I was like, you and I were probably these little girls. I was like a little teeny thing, like probably 70 pounds dripping wet. And I'd try and run and they'd always, I always got caught. But you know what? I had the intent. I really wanted to break through. So when you out there come up against a challenge, I don't even care if you got a team or if you're just beginning and you don't have anybody. Hear me on this. Lean into it and know that the challenge is there to strengthen you. It's not there to stop you. It's there to teach you that you're learning, you're growing, you're in your discomfort place and you maybe don't know what to do. But I guarantee you, it's then and only then will you grow just a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. And pretty soon, you may have 3 or 4 challenges that come your way, and you have the tools to navigate. So don't quit, guys, too soon. Many people quit before they see what they really wanted to attain in the business. They quit before they ever really got started because they don't like that discomfort of being out of your comfort zone. And I get it. I sometimes, even now, after 20 some years of being in the industry, I'm like, oh, this is uncomfortable. This is really challenging me. But guess what? I take it and I say, I know this is for me. It's not happening to me. It's happening for me to make me a stronger leader. So I can either lean into it or I can ignore it and it's just going to come up again and again. So what if you were to look at your challenges as a learning tool? Look at your challenges as these are strengthening me. Imagine how much more productive you would be rather than, oh, why is this always happening? Everyone's saying no. Nobody wants to. We shoulda, woulda, coulda. Get out of it. Get out of it. Okay, and then the last one. I'm going to move real quick. Oh, no, you go ahead.
Okay. Well, I was going to say that's when you put your blinders on and you just dive into all of that personal development that you can do, but don't overwhelm yourself with it either, right? Like after this call, take 15 minutes to sit down and process what you just learned and take notes. And what are you going to apply? Sometimes we're pulling in all of this information too, and we're not applying anything. And then you're like, I tried everything. I do all of these trainings. I do all of this, but you're not applying any of it. And maybe too much is coming in and you're going to shut down and get overwhelmed.
Right.
That happens a lot. So take time to really process what are you going to learn today and apply.
And Anita, by the way, I have to apologize. I think it's a little delayed. I keep saying something when I think you're done. So I apologize. I feel like I'm like, but there's a little delay. So I just noticed here in the comments, and by the way, thank you for the comments because I can see these from within the Flip the Switch group. And it says here, I found it tough to work my business 100% of the time after quitting my day job. It went from fun to pressure and stress. Now, I want to just address that because that does happen sometimes when people shift gears and when they feel like, okay, now I've got more expectations. And in fact, I've even worked with a few people where we've had to change their mindset to I get to versus I have to. Right? Like I have to do this. Let's just pretend, leader training at my company or, I have to sell a minimum. No. You get to because you don't have to do anything. Well, I have to pay my bills. No, you don't have to. There's plenty of people that don't. Well, I have to pay you don't have to do anything except be born and die. That's really the truth. My mom used to drive that home to me, by the way. So we get to
empowered,
right?
You feel empowered about the situation when you change it to that.
That's right. And when you go from feeling like it was fun to pressure, I'm going to tell you what typically the challenge is. Either you've put so much expectation on yourself to perfection or maybe to a rank advancement or something that maybe is slightly unattainable. Like maybe you put a goal that's so high that it's not a realistic goal, or you possibly might not have communicated to your upline what you're doing. And you might be feeling pressure, like they're like, well, we need this, we need that. So my suggestion to the person, I can't see in the comments, but I love that you were vulnerable and you put it out there, is if you feel pressure, you've got to revisit why you're doing this business. Now, I've said this over and over. I'll say it again. The most important question that you'll ask yourself in life is, what do I want? What do I want? See, different people join these network marketing companies for different reasons. Some people join for just, a specific reason. They have to make this extra money. Some people join for seasonal. You know what? It's the holidays and I want to make extra money at the holidays. And some people think they're joining because they just wanted a product discount and they end up being top of their company. You just never know. But high level communication. So if I'm feeling pressured, say from an upline, you want to have a conversation. Invite a conversation so that you can work back in a place of ease and flow versus pressure. Now, when I say ease and flow, I mean that kind of business that feels good to you. All right. Okay. I got one last thing because I mean, obviously, you know, you guys, I wrote the book, Flip the Switch, right? So the whole point of this book, it is really a go to work on yourself is the first 4 chapters, and the last 4 chapters are working with others. So this is a great leadership book. Oh, look, you have the cards.
Oh, yes.
You know what?
Need these.
I want to have you draw a card. I was just going to say, look at, I just got the brand new boxes finally delivered. Shipping and logistics from China finally came in. But what I want to share with you all is be on the lookout because we're going to be having a special on the brand new box of cards. But Anita, why don't you draw a card and then let's share with the group?
Okay, let's do that. Are those, is that box, are those new cards?
They are, you know what, they're the same, similar, except I did go with just all orange. There are the 2, I say orange, it's coral. No, but there are the 2 decks in here. So what's kind of cool about these is you can always keep a few in your purse. You can give them away to lift somebody's spirits, or you could mail them out or send them out and still have yourself a full deck.
Oh, it's so fun to put these, like if you do a prize, if you have a team and you do prizes, it's fun to put one of these in their prize box too. Just, it's kind of like a little love fortune cookie, but right, style. Are you ready for me to draw one?
Yeah, let's do it.
I did blue and not coral. But when emotions are high, logic is low. Oh, I do love this one.
Right?
This one often for some reason.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Yep. Keep going.
Yep. So when I remember this principle, I remind myself of the choices I have to see. In the choices I have to see a situation more clearly, I can pause or sleep on it to allow my emotions a chance to dissipate. I can more clearly revisit challenges and conversations when my heart and mind are well rested. So it says flip the switch to take control of emotions and personal power. When challenges, what challenges do I need to revisit with refreshed clarity? With whom do I need to have a conversation today? So maybe, not going to bed angry, it really isn't a good answer. Right? Sometimes you do need to sleep on it.
Yeah. And that card actually will lend itself to the last thing I'm going to share, which is, often we're faced with challenges around maybe a decision our company makes. Maybe it's a challenge that I'm having with a team member or, some decision within my team. And I want to encourage each of you. I'm a fiery personality for sure. Like I got a lot of passion going on when directed correctly. I call it passion, right? But if I'm in a place that's not very good, that fire can destroy, right? Now that sounds pretty harsh because, fire destroying, but think of it that way. When our emotions are high from something that could be heated, we want to sleep on it or allow ourselves to dial it down so that we can actually think through instead of letting our emotions lead us. You don't want to be led by your emotions. When you're leading a team, you want to be confident that you can be solid in communication. And oftentimes, maybe you'll need to call somebody to talk it through. I do that often, get another perspective because I'm really close maybe to the challenge, right? I could be taking it personal. That's not good as a leader. I might be a little bit in the victim mode. That's not good either. So I want to be 100%. right? Responsible for
Yeah.
my own life.
Yeah. Your
So,
ego can get in the way of so much. And
yeah,
yeah,
right.
it is good, like, to not, I remind myself, and don't always do it, of course, but to respond and not react.
I love it. Respond and not react. Because when we're reacting, chances are we're going to have regret. So I just remember a certain gentleman that I really admire. He said, I always sleep on it. And, that advice has served me well when it comes to something that's really close to my heart. All right. Think about it like this too, in a good way. When emotions are high, logic is low. So, those of you that are out there, you're bringing people on into your companies, you're selling lots of products. Hey, when people are like up here, like, woohoo, I like it, this is awesome, guys, that's when you close, right? Because logic is low now. But they're thinking about all of the things and all of the reasons of why they're not in a fear-based place, of thinking, what if it doesn't work? Does that make sense?
Mhm.
So we definitely want to, remember that statement can work in both ways with the challenge, but it can also work, when recognizing when people are excited and enthusiastic about your products or your business. Okay. Last thing I want to share, which really, Anita, was part of the card too, is staying stuck in the problem. Okay. Leaders create the culture within their teams. So, if we've got a leader up at the top that is constantly talking about the problem, that is constantly trying to, make appointments with their home office and quack to the owners or whatever, or, somebody that is, really into the nitty gritty, like controlling all these little things. And, all of a sudden my team has all these rules. Guys, get out of the freaking problem. Like, allow people the freedom to be an independent contractor. There's things that are in place that you don't have to be the person that is, complaining. You need to be the example. And I have often said, I have worked for several different companies, 4 in the field. I've not agreed with everything they do at every company. That doesn't matter. What matters is, to Anita's point, how I respond and how I lead my team when something doesn't go my way. That's really what it is. What am I going to do? Stomp my feet? Oh, they need to listen to me? No, they don't. It's their company. And what a lot of leaders don't understand, and I do understand this because I've worked at the corporate office, there are things that the field would want. Let's say they want a lower kit cost, but the company knows the investment that they spent on it, or they want a rule changed, let's say. But the leader doesn't understand that if that rule changes, it's going to affect negatively, to the field. Like, let me give you an example. Let's say that my trip, to go on my trip, let's say there was a requirement for recruits, and I wanted to not have recruits be part of my trip incentive. Well, guess what? That means probably the company is going to lower their recruiting. Do you get where I'm going? So when the company makes a decision, or, if your team has some kind of challenge, talk to somebody outside your team. Don't get in there and start having a discussion about why your company should change this or change that. It is not your company. This is a leadership guiding, in my opinion, it's a principle, right? I don't have to like everything, but I am going to show people how to navigate through it, and do what we can, right? So those outside influences don't need to dictate my inner peace and my inner happiness and my inner joy. I can disagree and still be 100% supportive of my company. And every company that I've ever been with has given me beyond measure beautiful businesses. So I just want you to think for a moment before you stay too stuck in a problem that you have no control of the outcome. Anita, what would you say to that?
Yeah, I just was writing that down because I love it, because you have to have, it has to be a solution based.
Right.
Even, as you work with your team, even hear them, validate it, and then
Mhm.
find that solution. Because we
Right.
don't get anywhere when we get stuck, and it's so easy to get stuck. And even if and I was thinking of this earlier too, Joan, because we're talking about finding solutions and going and getting outside help. And even if your top leaders are your best friends,
Yeah.
it's your business, and you have to remember to separate that and go to a business coach if you need help, and not maybe your best friend, and learn how to not react to them because they're your best friend, right? But you still need
Right.
to respond to them on a business level,
Right. And
no matter where your relationship is.
yeah, I love that you said that, because we do become often good friends with the people that we work with.
Mhm.
So it is really important, I believe, to keep friends friends and business business. And I also love, Anita, you brought up another really good point. Look at, I could go on and on here. I could be here for like another couple hours, you guys. I'm glad for those of you still hanging with us, but this is another point that I think has really served me is um, when you are, oh, now see, I just lost my train of thought. You had just mentioned, it was such a good point that you brought up. You said, yeah, geez. Well, anyway, I don't know. Maybe I didn't quite, I don't know where I'm at. So I
Well, we're
think
just talking about solution based.
solution based, yeah, yeah. It was, you had just mentioned something really good.
Like when you're good friends with, in
Good
responding and not
friends.
reacting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
responding, not reacting. Oh, I know what it was. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anita mentioned when your people come to you, when your team members come to you with a problem, I want to encourage you to have empathy.
Oh, validate.
Listen to them. Listen. You don't have to agree. But I think many times, and I've been there, where I want to tell someone why they shouldn't feel that way. No, you don't understand. No, that's not the deal. Or simply just get the hell over it, right? Like, let's just kind of move on. I don't want to hear the crap.
Guilty of
That's
that.
what I
Yeah.
want you to know, right? Yeah, we got to be
Pass.
empathetic. You got to understand people and validate them coming to you, because I want to keep an open communication between me and my team members. You know, if we've got team members that feel like every time they come to us that we tell them they shouldn't feel that way, they're going to stop coming to you. And just as much as people buy a product from people they know, like, and trust, people work with you because they know, like, and trust you. So here's the last 3 words I'm going to give you. Write this down. This is really helpful. When you're communicating, be clear, be firm. And what firm means is that means that you're not wavering on what's most important to you, on what you value. Okay? So clear, firm, and respectful always. I think so many times, we get in these places where our emotions can get away from us. So sometimes we just have to step away, take some breath, right? And just calm ourselves down. And if there is, any kind of, I'm not going to use the word mistake. I'm going to say if there's a growth opportunity, just revisit, guys. You can revisit anytime. You can revisit anytime. Nothing is ever lost. So, all right, Anita, as we wrap up today, I want to thank you so much for being my guest. And I also just want to say you added such value to this call, because you said it, you had a team that grew very quickly, and all of a sudden it was like, okay, you know what? I've got a lot of people. Who do I work with? What are some of our team's cultures? What are some of the things that we're going to establish for training? There's all kinds of things. And my goal here in the Flip the Switch community is to continue to provide you with leadership tools and help you develop your skills. And so you're going to be seeing some posts that will say, what do you need most as a leader? Please take the time to comment. And even right now, while it's fresh in your head, write in the comments. I go back, I read all the comments, and it's really important to me to serve our community and help you as well. So, Anita, thank you so much again. Any last words from you? Anything you feel like you want to share?
I just want to say, grab your pencil and write this down. It's a quote from Danelle Delgado, and I love it and use it all the time. But it's, who's losing if you're not winning?
Oh,
and I love that, because I want you to win. I want you to be a winner, and just find success in what you're doing.
Yep, I love it. I love it. Well, Anita, thanks so much. And thank you for all of you joining. I noticed somebody said they were having a hard time sharing it. So we will help you. If you want to share it, just write share in the comments, and one of my assistants will reach out to you and make sure that we get it shared. So for those of you that aren't in the community, pop into the comments, get in the community. And for those of you that are sharing it, we're going to enter you into the drawing, and we will be doing a drawing on my live coming up this Friday. So have a great day, Anita. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right. Bye, guys. See you next Wednesday.